super excited for today's convo. I scoped out some of your content, read some articles, and was watching a lot of content from like 2, 3 years ago. And I think you have a unique way to you did the thing that I think most people dream of doing, but tell
Hmm.
themselves stories that they can't do and a long list of reasons why they can't do it, because of this or because of that. And you just kind of like you just freaking did it. And I think it'll just show people that I honestly, I mean, I think you're so relatable. So I'm really excited for people to meet you. We
Yeah.
got Crypto Mom, aka Brenda, on the show today. And thank you for being here, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Your energy, there's some people that you just pick up on their energy right away. And it's no wonder why
Really?
people I think gravitate towards,
Yeah.
you and how you show up. Your energy, I think, is just infectious. So I'm really excited for people to kind of get to know you and hear your story, which is where I wanted to start. I saw an article. It was
Hmm.
written 2 years ago or maybe 3 years ago. The headline was, I think, how a mom went from a $4,000 paycheck to making $85,000 per transaction slash per month investing in crypto. I think that's a really good place to start because to most people, they're going to be like, maybe they're making 4 grand, and then they hear 85,000 a month, and they may seem like a lot. Break down that story a bit. I know I think it was in 2020 that you quit your job, you went full time in crypto.
Yes.
I think
Yes.
that article talked a bit about that, but I
Yeah.
want to kind of hear it from you to like unpack 2020. I'm just trying to get into your head. 2020, you're working a job. I think you were doing mortgages and you were in traditional finance.
Yes.
The crypto bug hit you. You eventually transitioned full time into crypto. Tell us a little about that and more so maybe on that transition, because I think a lot of people watching are doing something that they may not love doing. And I have nothing against jobs, but they might just not like what they do. And they're really interested in this crypto DeFi thing. um, Make it real for them. What happened there? Break down that story a bit.
Yes. So in 2020, COVID happened, right?
Yes.
But I'm gonna go back a bit.
Okay.
Before COVID, I had climbed the corporate ladder, and I felt to that I've reached a point where I don't think I can go higher than this. And my daughter was studying computer science at UT Austin. That was 2016. She didn't care for it, and I kept telling her, look, this is a good way to, get into tech because I knew there's between AI and blockchain, something I just knew something was going to happen, right? And I kept telling her just focus, and very soon something's going to blow up. Either it's going to be AI, it's going to be blockchain, and
Or both. Or both.
yes, or both. Back then, I was thinking, it could be,
Totally.
either way, it's gonna
And
be.
what year was that?
I put them in tech classes since probably 2010 when they were.
Yeah, that's unreal. So I've been reading a lot about billionaires because they
Yeah,
fascinate me. You know that the biggest thing that really helped them move to billionaire wasn't like their genius and all that. They were so good at spotting the trends 10 or 20 years
that's
before the
it.
trend actually happened.
That's
And it sounds like you have the gift.
I do, and I believe I'll be a billionaire.
Billionaire and Brenda would go really well together.
I like that.
I like it too.
Yeah, I like that. And then when I am one, I'll make sure I come back here and tell and say, hey,
We'll
look
give
at
the
this,
billionaire story.
you know.
I love
Yeah,
it.
yeah. So I had wanted to invest in Bitcoin the very first time, look, in 2010. Because I saw the white paper going online, like making
Yep.
its rounds. But I was like, oh man, we just had a market crash and I'm not gonna mess with it. I'm not gonna touch any of that stuff. Fast forward 2017, when Cynthia is at UT Austin, she's talking about blockchain technology and she's so serious about it. Mom, I want to go to Africa. I want to go study blockchain technology, and I'm so excited. And she's telling me, well, it may even take over your job, fintech. You need to start looking into blockchain technology. So I was really I had started doing research. I wasn't ready to invest until 2020. And it happened so easily because we are home.
Mm,
The girls were
makes
home.
sense.
Girls came back home. And we are all trading. No, she started first, and I saw her zero in her wallet. And I said, well, I don't know what you all 20-year-olds are doing, but can you all tell me what you're doing?
Love it.
Yeah, so that's how it started. I mean, I just watched her trading, and she was telling me how a lot of 20-year-olds were getting into crypto, and I was like, oh, this is exciting. So the first time I made a trade, I think it 3x'd in a day. And I said, wait, what? I woke up, I was like, wait, what?
Is
How
this
did
even
that
real?
happen? Yeah, so I looked at the price, that at that point in 2020, I think Bitcoin had crashed down to 3,800.
Got it.
Ethereum was at 250. And I was looking at XRP. Everybody talks about XRP, and I was like, you know what? We're gonna do something. I'm just gonna take some money from my 401k and just do it.
Let's go.
And I did it. And then I went on Twitter. And I was like,
Sharing your journey, it sounds like. Because that
yeah.
was my next question was the crypto content. And just to back up for a second, you said you started investing in 2020, but what I heard is you really started investing in 2016, 2014, because researching this stuff is investing. I think a lot of people just want to deploy capital, but they miss the years you spent most likely researching the shit that you're about to invest in because, well, it sounds like you want to make good decisions. So it sounds like you had in 2010, you already saw where the tech could be going.
Mhm.
Your daughter picked up on the Web3 stuff. You started researching it. And by the time you actually started deploying capital, sounds like you already had a pretty good grasp on. You
Yeah.
read how many people bought Bitcoin? I ask people when they're invested, I'm like, oh, you own Bitcoin. Have you ever read the white paper? And they're like, nope. And I'm like, do you really actually know what you're investing in? Or, it's crazy to me.
Yeah, I'm so impressed that, not too many people pinpoint the fact that when you're researching, you're already an investor because
Totally.
why would you be researching it anyway? You know what I'm saying? Something's piqued your interest and you are researching it for a reason.
I
Yeah,
agree. And then I heard three words, and I'm just gonna bring this back because I want to be the guy
yeah.
who gets credited. I heard Brenda, Bitcoin, and billions, and those are three good. Those are good.
I love it,
Brenda,
Lucas.
Bitcoin,
I love it.
billions. I'll be cheering for you.
I
Um,
love it.
so talk about the crypto content. So you did that, and it sounds like you went on Twitter, you started sharing your journey, which I'm huge on the creator economy, by the way. I'm just like literally just share your journey. And if it's
Mhm.
authentic and you just show people what you're doing, you can build a following and also capitalize on that. So now it's like you get to do what you love, and you also get to capitalize on some of the distrust in traditional education, and people are learning from people actually doing the damn thing instead of theory. So it sounds like you went on Twitter, you started sharing it, and it sounds like there was a bit of a connection or a following. Is that where your crypto content journey started, I'm guessing?
Yeah, and before that, my daughters didn't want me to get on Twitter because I'm
Mm,
very outspoken. Um,
outspoken. Okay. That's probably a good thing.
yeah,
A little
yeah.
controversy is good.
Yeah, yeah. They were like, no, mom, we were not even going to show you how to get Twitter. I said, okay, well, so I went to my work and I was like, hey, told one of the guys, look, can you help me get this Twitter thing? So I got Twitter and I started, being vocal on Twitter. And back then, literally, there was no, everybody was behind a PFP. You didn't see anyone's face, maybe
Got
Michael's
it.
face, or maybe just a few people, but to find, okay, this black girl, she's over here telling people, Bitcoin's going to 18K. The reason I say that, it was when it was at 3,800, I had a dream. And this is funny to people, but God shows me before it
Yep.
actually happens. So I was telling everybody it's going to 18K, and they're like, wait, what? I was like, yeah, it's going to 18K. So I just got in at whatever price it was at that time. I think it was 38. It stayed below 10K for a while in 2020. And everybody was like, this thing is not moving. And then it just shot up towards the end of the year.
Let's go.
And
So it sounds like you jumped on Twitter. Your daughters didn't want you on it because you're outspoken, which probably worked in your favor.
Mhm.
You're with all respect, of course, this crazy haired, amazing human that just has a presence. Like you when you show up, people notice. And
Thank
and
you.
a woman in the space, which probably
Yeah.
wasn't very
No, you
popular
didn't see
back
that at
then.
all. Yeah,
So it's just
yeah.
like, who is this chick and what's she talking about? And
Yeah.
you're outspoken. So that was probably the perfect storm of getting attention.
Yeah, yeah, and it happened so fast. So I started following all the Bitcoin accounts, right? All
Yep.
the outspoken Bitcoin accounts, and I built a rapport. I remember Leah Heilpern had written a book about Bitcoin,
Yep.
and I
That's
said,
like
"Hey,
that undressing Bitcoin or whatever it's called.
yes,
That one. Yeah.
yes, yes, exactly that one." So I told her, "Hey, I bought your book and I love it," and she's like, "Oh, I'll mentor you."
Let's
So
go.
I say, oh, cool. Yeah, I need to know more about this. So we hit it off, and she was retweeting me, and she would let me know this is what's happening with, this is where the market's going. So we really connected. When I went 2021 to Bitcoin Miami, they needed somebody to help to get people on stage, and I volunteered. And that's how my account
Smart.
blew up, because I met every speaker that was going on stage, Mayweather. I met the founder of Vitor. I met everybody.
Smart.
Um, and they just remembered the name. So I'll be like, hey, remember I met you here? And they'll be like, oh yeah, we want to talk to you. Let's do this. This
Smart.
kind of event. So that's how it started. Yeah.
I want to extract I think a lesson that I heard that I hope people picked up on is you started building success, you were investing, you were probably doing, well, and yet you're still humble enough to come and work for free somewhere or
Yeah.
volunteer for somewhere. And I think it gets like people make a little bit of money, it gets to their head, and now they're like,
Yeah.
my time is worth so much. I'm like, but if you're an actual investor, you're happy to devote some time for greater return on the back end. So I think maybe you didn't mean to do it, but it sounds like you met a lot of influential people, and that
Yes.
free day or 2 days was probably a really good investment in building brand anyway.
Best one, best event I've been to. And I had seen in my trading that I could make more in a
Right.
year than I've made in 10 years. So I had the account, I had the money to show it, but I said, you know what? They need someone.
Let's go.
And a lot of people actually that were with me or volunteered with me that year, a lot of them became founders of projects. I know one of them is actually, probably she ran NFT NYC, and
Okay.
she was also a
Wow.
volunteer. A lot of them went and became their own founders of projects. So it was a good thing.
Let's go. That story is super inspiring. I hope anyone listening picked up on, I think that's worth watching 2, 3 times. I think your success path is not a full out accident. Like I think sometimes we look back and we're like, someone just got lucky. And I'm like, yeah, but they kept showing up to place themselves.
Hmm.
And yes, at that event, you may have had a contact or two, but you went to go work there for free. So like you placed yourself in the path of that. And it also sounds like you're spiritually connected. You mentioned the word God. Our
Hmm.
listeners may have different ways of viewing it, but spiritually connected to listening to um, your creator or your inner voice or whatever, to being like, hey, I'm going to trust my inner guidance system to
Hmm.
to make some moves here. I love it. So that wraps up today's conversation. If you have any questions for today's guest on any topic we discussed, or maybe topics we didn't discuss, do leave them in the comments below. If you have a recommendation, or if you'd love to see someone on this show, from a guest, from an expert, from an investor, from maybe someone who's built or is involved in a protocol, do let us know in the comments below. And again, if you enjoyed, like this video, subscribe to this channel, and we'll see you in the next.